everyone, welcome to 5 Minute Fridays, where we take 5 minutes to close out our week in the Word of God. Before we get into the Word of God for today, I need to give you a little bit of build up to it in order to help you see just what God was showing to me this week, because it was cool. So earlier this week, Charlie and I were just sitting watching something on Disney, and as that show ended, you know, on Disney Plus, it goes into the next thing. It shows you what it's going to play if you don't click anything. And the next thing that was up was The Lion King. And it hit Liz and I like, hey, Charlie's never seen The Lion King. We should definitely watch this. This would be so cool. And so, you know, it starts and it's going, and it's that opening scene, which is just such a cool and awesome scene where, you know, all the animals are coming to Pride Rock, and Rafiki's making his way over there, and he climbs up Pride Rock, and he goes over to Mufasa, and just, he looks down at this little lion cub, you know, at little Simba. And then as the music just continues to build and crescendo and get louder and more powerful, Rafiki's going out, and he just throws Simba up into the sky here and just lets everybody see, like, the whole animal kingdom. Look at this. This is the son of the king. How cool is that? And I mean, it gets me fired up. And if we're being totally honest, you know, in that moment, I lifted Charlie right up, and I made sure she was seen by the world. And anytime we're at a baseball game or something where they start playing that song, you know, I'll do the same thing. I'll lift her up. And just, it's a cool moment. Because what is happening in that moment is the pride and joy of the king. The pride and joy of this father is being shown to the whole animal kingdom. This is my son. This is my child. This is my boy. And I want you all to see. And what's weird about that for me is the rest of the movie. And so this may be frustrating to y'all. Spoiler alert, I'm going to let you know some characters who die in this movie. But so often, you know, I'm watching this movie with people, or I'm talking about this movie with people, and they're talking about how, well, yeah, you know, you got the good guy, that's Simba, and you got the bad guy, that's Scar. Don't agree. If we're being honest here, I really, really very much so feel as though Simba is also a bad guy in this movie. All right? Simba should know better, okay? Because right after this epic moment that goes on where the king is saying, this is my boy, I love him, I'm so pleased with him, he's the best. What does Simba do? Simba goes to an elephant graveyard, disobeying his father, putting himself and another in danger. Kind of a dumb move, all right? Then he gets, you know, has a talking to. Things get better, forgiveness is given, and everything goes on. Then what happens? Simba goes and talks to Uncle Scar. Probably not a good move, okay? That's another male lion. He's looking real skinny. He's not probably getting the first bites off any of them gazelle and zebra and antelope that they're eating. Simba goes and talks to him and starts listening to him. And what does Scar do? Oh, I got a surprise for you. Come hang out in this gorge. You know, Simba, listen to the context clues. Let's get out of the gorge. And then what happens? A stampede of wildebeest are rushing on down, and Mufasa has to come down and save his idiot son again from something dumb that he shouldn't have been doing. And in the end dies. Who's the real bad guy in that movie? All right, that's not what this is about. This is about getting in the Word of God. So why am I telling you all this? Because in this epic moment, this moment here, that Mufasa is having his son lifted up before the entire animal kingdom is very similar to our moment in baptism, where we are lifted up before the entire church, and we are just shown off to the world. This is a child of God. This is a loved child of God, and this child of God is pleasing our Father in heaven. And what's cool about that, and why we as Lutherans, you know, we baptize our babies, is because it is never too soon to be claimed by our Father in heaven. It is never too soon to receive the grace that we receive in Jesus Christ. And so what I want you to take away, what I want you to hear from today, are the words of how God demonstrates his love to us that come to us from Romans 5, verse 8. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Mufasa didn't know exactly what Simba was going to do wrong. But he knew he's probably going to mess up. God didn't create us and think y'all are going to be absolutely perfect. God created us, allowed us to be born, allowed us to be formed in our mother's womb, allowed us to be birthed, and allowed us to experience the experiences we have knowing we were going to mess up. And yet still took a moment to hold us up before the entire world and say, this is my child. And knowing that we were going to mess up, he sent his son. He sent his one and only son, who again, he spoke at Jesus' baptism and said, this is my son whom I love. With him I am well pleased. And what did his son do? His son went to the cross, the place we had earned, the place we deserved, and he died so that we wouldn't have to. So that we could, in the same way that Jesus was declared and claimed as the Son of God, could be claimed as sons and daughters of our Father. And even though God knows we're going to mess up, even though God knows we're going to let him down, even though God knows we're going to hurt him, we are going to drive his name into the dirt, and we're going to fail left and right. He still sent Jesus knowing that his love for us was more than anything we could do. And so if you are struggling with knowing the love of God, what I want you to hear again are those words, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. This is how God demonstrates his love for us. He didn't hold you up before all of the world in order for you to just lose that love someday. That love is yours forever. It is an ever-pursuing love. A little later on in Romans, Paul says there is nothing that can separate you from that love. Even when you lose your faith, God is coming after you in love. Even when you bring others down with you, God is coming after you in love. Even when you fall victim to the temptations of Satan, God is coming after you in love. And so today, just remember, God in your baptism has lifted you up before all of the world and claimed you as his own. And that love will carry you forward and will continue to pursue you no matter what happens in your life. So continue to look for God's love. If you're not seeing it, get back in the Word. If you're not baptized, come talk to us. Let's get baptism on the table. And let's continue to see what God can do through us, with us, and in us. Never forgetting the fact that he loves you no matter what.